All right, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to learn how to add items to our Zotero library. There are several methods to do this. The first one is that connector that we installed in our browser. So I'm going to pop open a browser. Here we go. And I'm just at the library homepage. So the idea is that you could go to a website or a database and just pull in that information by using that button up there that you installed. So the first thing I want to do is go to a web page. I'm just going to go to epa.gov and I'm going to go to Greener Living, and I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these news releases down here. So let's say I'm interested in using something from this news release in my research, so I want to add it to my Zotero. All I have to do is, while I'm looking at it, is go on up to that icon, Save to Zotero, and tap it. Now you do have to have the Zotero program open to do this. If you tap that and it isn't open, it's going to say, hey, open up your program, and then you will have to click it again. So I already had it open. So there we've added it to our Zotero. So I'm going to open up the program. It was minimized, and you can see there it is right there. It's added it to my Zotero, so super easy. It should be selected, and in this case it is, and you'll see an info bar over on the right side. You do want to make sure that all these fields are correct. Sometimes it doesn't pull in correctly, or it doesn't bring in all the information you need, so you can just double check it. I do recommend doing this as you add items. So you add an item, immediately double check that it's correct. If you don't, then later on you're going to have to go back and find that item again, so you're going to have to repeat the whole process to double check this information before you create citations. So you might as well just do it as you go. It's a lot faster that way. And all you have to do is just kind of click on a field and type. And when you click out, it automatically saves. Let's say if this wasn't a web page, I could just click that and say, oh, it's actually a map, and change it out. I'm going to cancel that because it is in fact a web page and I don't want to lose anything. But I could update the title. In this case, I probably should, because it is not in sentence case. And in APA, we do want sentence case. One thing that's annoying about Zotero is that it can't fix something to be sentence case when it isn't. So you do need to make sure it is sentence case in this right sidebar. So I'll just quickly do that with this one. Yep. One more. There we go. And you just click out and it's updated. So that's how you add a website. Super easy. I also want to show you that this one I just had my library selected, so it just added to my library. But if I wanted it to go into a specific folder, if I select that folder and then go over and hit that button in the browser, it will automatically add it to that folder for me. So I'll go ahead and select 605 for the next thing. So I'll X out of this and back to the library homepage. Now let's say I want to find a journal. So I'm just going to search in our articles for we'll sort our spruce beetle. Do a quick search. And here we go. We have a list of items. So the general rule with Zotero is that you want to get to either the website with the information or a page that's giving you information. In the case of journals, you don't want to go all the way into the PDF. You actually want to be a step back from that. So in this case, let's say this first one was interesting. If we click on the title, we're going to get this information page. This is the page that you want to use for Zotero. So we'll go on up and we'll click on our Save to Zotero button. It's saving to 605, so it's saving to that folder I selected. And then we can go on back over to our Zotero program, and it should pop up. There it is, development and survival. Now I said before that everything lives in your My Library, so you'll see both things are there. And if I wanted to add this to 605, I could just grab it and drag it over and drop it. And now they're both in 605. Now if I select the one I just pulled in, you'll see it's a journal article. And here's my title, and it is in sentence case, so that's great. All three authors are there, so we'll just glance over here. 3 authors, perfect. And you'll just kind of go through and check all these things. You want to make sure things like the volume, if there's an issue number, this one does not have an issue number, so we're good. It does have the page range. Okay, sometimes it'll just pop in one page or the number of pages. So you do want to double check that and just check all these. Journal, so there's a journal name. Now the library catalog, this always says EBSCOhost, which is technically incorrect. For APA, you don't actually need the database name, so you don't have to correct it. But if you want to, if you go back over to the information page and scroll down, you'll see the database listed at the bottom, environment complete. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that and add it. I like to update that because MLA requires it. Some other citation styles do require it, so you might as well have it. And additionally, it helps you find something later if you know which database it was actually living in. Oh, right. So we've added that, and let's just say that's all correct. It actually looks pretty good to me. So now we have 2 items in our folder. I'll make sure 605 is still selected, and I'm going to go back over and close this out. All right, so now let's go ahead and add some books and eBooks. So we'll go in here, I'll just search for Beatles. Do a quick search in our catalog. Now we have this bento box system in our catalog, and you'll see from the catalog, this is our stuff, all right? These are some, it's showing you the journals and things and then other libraries, but you can just go ahead and click into full results from the catalog to see our books and eBooks. All right, so we have, let's see, oh great, we have a book and an ebook right there. So here we have a book, okay? And remember, you want to get to the information page. So we can just click on the title, and it should take us right into the book. Sometimes you'll have a list of various editions. I'm going to go back to the search results and see if I can find one like that. Here's one. So if we click into this one, you'll see there's 2 different editions. You actually want to click into the one that you want to put in Zotero because it's 2 different items, right? So just click the book and it'll give you this, and it might list several editions if there's different, you know, a 1950 copy and then a 1990 copy. So just click on it and it will open up that page. So it should look something like this and not have those options, and this is the page you want to save. So this is a GovDoc. I don't really want to pull that one in because I want to show you what a book looks like. I guess I can show you what a GovDoc looks like too. You can see also that the icon changed, but it's still saved to Zotero. So we'll pop him in there. All right, and then I'm going to go back. Oh, gotta go back a few times. I'm going to choose that first one because it's a book. Let's go ahead and add him. All right. And now I'm going to go back over to Zotero and see how those 2 look. All right. So I added them both to 605. Here's that book, Beatles. See, book, Beatles, Ronson, Winfred. Now here's something to note. In the catalogs, a lot of times they will put the birth and death dates of an author. You don't want that in your citation. So you just select that and take that out of there. Okay. Because it'll put it in the citation. And then, you know, check publisher and date and all of that. Anything that you feel is going to be important. Let's see, this proceedings, this is the government document. It is going to show as a book in here. You could glance through and just make sure that there's not maybe another field that would be better. With government documents, a lot of times they are in book form or some kind of pamphlet form, so that works. We'd have to fix the title here because it's not in sentence case. I'm not going to bother. And additionally, got an odd little piece of punctuation there, so we'll take that out. No author is listed, so let's go over and see if there is one. And it was this one here. We have contributors, not necessarily authors, but you could do a little investigation and see if you need to add those people. And they do have in Zotero options for other people. If you go to author, you can say contributor and change it over to that, or editor, or whatever it may be, so that it will be placed correctly in the citation. I'm not going to bother updating this so we don't waste too much time. All right, so now we have those. Now the next one is an ebook. Ebooks can be tricky, so I'm going to show you what we've got here. This second one here is an ebook. Again, I'm just going to click into it. We've got our information page, and I keep telling you this is where you want to save Zotero. But when I save from this page for an ebook, and I go back over to Zotero, let's see, it's this one here. You'll see it says web page, and it's missing some information. Okay, it's not quite correct. So that's not good. We're going to delete him. Just select it, hit delete, hit OK. Easy as that. So how about we try the access online? That's going to take us into the ebook information page in the ebook database. So let's try that page. All right, go back over to Zotero. There it is, Beetles and Conservation. Book. This looks much better. By the way, it's still going to be book, not ebook. In here, they're considered the same thing. So this is much better. Occasionally, you'll have to actually open up the ebook. So like I'd have to go into read online. So just kind of pay attention to what gets pulled in and give it a try. This is one of those unique situations where some ebooks don't embed the data that Zotero reads until you get to this spot, but just give it a try. One little trick is to pay attention to that icon. It looks like a book, so it's probably going to pull in what you need because you're looking at a book. All right, so that's how you add things with the connector. So I'm going to go back over to Zotero. Those all look great. I'm going to leave them in there. Okay. Now there's some other ways to add items to your Zotero. Let's say you have a folder that already has some PDFs in it, and you don't want to have to go search for them again. You might not have to. Let's just go ahead and pull in this Evidence Carlson item. You can just drag it over in. Let's see if it's gonna wake up. It took a minute the other day. There we go. So now it pulled in the PDF, but it's selected, and you'll see over here there's no information. And that's because it's just a PDF. It doesn't have what's called a parent item. So if you right click on that, you can say create parent item. But that makes you, that gives you a form that you'd have to fill out manually. The first thing to try is this retrieve metadata from PDF, and it might fill out the form for you. A lot of PDFs have embedded metadata, so stuff you can't see that tells you about the source. So give that a try. It's going to pop up this. Now the first time you do it, it might pop up and say you have to go into preferences and say, yes, I want to be able to do this. And it should only do that once. But in this case, it did in fact find the metadata. So we've got a green check mark, close, and you'll see that now my PDF actually belongs to a parent item. Okay, and there my parent item does have the information about my article. Okay, and you could double check all of this obviously and fix anything that needs fixed. This brings up another point, is that I have the settings set to pull in PDFs when I'm pulling it through that connector. So if we look at some of these others I pulled in, I'm just going to select everything. You'll see if there's a PDF, it pulled in this from that EBSCO one that we pulled in from OneSearch. It also will take a snapshot of a website. Sometimes it will link, like if you look at the snapshot, it'll link you back to the website or the article. So lots of different things, and that's all in the settings. When you sync, you can decide what gets saved and what doesn't. And I just like saving everything. I think they're very helpful. So I'm going to close all these back down. All right, so dragging in a PDF and then doing the metadata can be quite helpful. Let me go ahead and drag in measurement night. Again, we're going to need to add it. Let's pretend that we did the metadata and it didn't work. Now I'm going to do create parent item. And what it's going to do is pop up this form. The first thing you need to do is say, this is in fact a journal article, and it will give you the proper form. And then I just have to go through and manually fill in all these fields. Okay, so just another way for you to get that information in there. I'm gonna pull them in because I want to make a bibliography and later on, so I want it to be pretty. All right, so he's in there. All right, so now we have two ways to pull it in. You can either pull it in with the connector, or you can drag in PDFs and grab the metadata. Finally, you can just create things manually. Okay, so you can go up to this little green plus sign and drop down and choose what kind of source it is. More, they have lots of them listed, right? So then you just say it's a journal article, and again, it'll just pop up a little parent item and give you a blank form for you to fill out. They also have a wand. And the wand is kind of fun because if you have an ISBN or DOI number for your item, which is the identification number, ISBNs are for books, DOIs are for journal articles. If you have that, you can just paste that in and it will pull in the information for your item. I mean, there's occasionally it doesn't work, but usually it does. So I have a DOI, digital object identifier. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Just hit enter. And then it pulled it in for me, okay? And the information's over there. Now I got some goofy stuff going on here with some coding tags. I'd have to remove those, and there's some more down there. So make sure you double check everything, okay? But it pulled it in, all right? This can be helpful. I mean, if you just maybe have like a list of items, or someone sent you something in an email. So this might be a way to do it. You have a physical book in front of you. You can just grab that ISBN number. It's usually on the reverse title page. We call that a verso page. So on the back of the title page or on the back of the book. And it's usually like a 978 number. So you can just pop that in there, hit enter. And here we have our book that came in, okay? All right. So, and you look here and we got our book information. So, yay, pulled it in for us. And that is how you add items to your library. So four options really. You've got the connector, you've got drag and drop, you've got manual entry, and then you've got the wand. So if you have any trouble adding things to your library, feel free to shoot me an email and we'll see if we can troubleshoot that as well. All right, so join me in the next video where we will be talking about how to move our items into the group libraries. Actually, you know what? I can show you that right now. So these items here, I've got them in my 605 folder. Let's just say I want to add a couple of these. I'm just going to select them, and that's Control Select. On a Windows machine, I believe it's Command Select on a Mac. And you select more than one, and then you can just drag them over, and I'm not really going to drop it, but you could drop it into a folder. And that's then going to add it to the group folder that everyone can see. I could do the same thing here and drag it over to my test folder, and I'd see those four in my test folder. So it's really easy to move things around in Zotero. All right, so now you can visit me in the next video where we'll talk about creating citations, in-text citations, bibliographies, and the connector in Word. So join me over there.